Stevens has really been a dominant player up to this point, although the score doesn't indicate it. But here you see he has both hands up in the air. He doesn't foul. Keeps so strong in there that he just kind of moves people by his mere presence.
Most significant number of the first quarter statistics, the Eagles turned the ball over 7 times and still managed to stay pretty much in the hunt. So if they can start to hang on to the ball with a little bit more consistency.
The Carson defense has been very quick and much more aggressive than the Washington defense.
18-13 ball game, 1 minute into the second quarter. This is Brown on the high post. Turns around, tries to scoop it up, and Stevens caught him on the arm. Second personal foul against Stevens.
Personal foul number 20, Clayton Stevens, his second personal.
Up to this point, David Boone, who's the leading scorer, he's averaged 18 points a game and has been their top player, but he's not been a factor up to this point, and really Doug Brown is the reason for it. Doug's done a really good job on him.
And a rebound this time by Boone. Grabbed with one hand. Give it up for Robinson now. Robinson worked on by Labason as he brings it across the timeline. 19-13 ball game. Carson by 6. We're in the second quarter. Boys Division I high school championships here in the state of California. Outside, this is Boone again. Boone starts for the baseline. Now is cut off by Davis and gives it back up for Robinson. Robinson turns on Labason, takes it in the lane, gives it up for Boone, but he didn't know it was coming. Out ahead is Labason. Foot race with Neely to the basket. And can't get it down, but a whistle blows, and a foul is going to be called against Labason.
Well, again, Neely got a position and took the charge. Let's take a look. Here we see Labason coming in. Neely's getting over there to get that position. Technically, he was right. Neely was the right position, but I still don't believe that call because, or that interpretation that they have on that play. Because once you start your gather, you should be protected on your shot, not when you're airborne.
So Neely goes to the line and converts the first end of a 1-and-1. 19-14 ball game. 3 points for Neely. That is nearly his season's average. Second try by Neely is up and good, and it's a 19-15 ball game. So the Eagles close to within 4.
Now, you see, we have changed the defense here, Barry. We have a press by Washington for the first time.
And now they hurry back on defense as Wilson comes across the timeline, gives it up on a high post. Now to Hudson, turns on Boone, or rather on Stevens, and can't get the roll. Boone with a rebound. And a grab foul on Hudson. That's going to be his third. So Hudson compounds it.
Well, here we have, Hudson makes a fake, takes a step off, throws the ball up there. It looks like it's in. Actually, it's more in than out. Then it just kind of spins right out. Boone goes up for the rebound, and Hudson just gets him on the arm, making a play for the ball.
So Boone goes to the line for the Eagles with a chance to cut it to 2. He can't get the roll, and up for the rebound is Stevens. Turns around underneath. He can't get it to go. Smith fights for the rebound, and coming away with it now is Wilson for Carson. 19-15 ball game as now the tempo picks up just a little bit. Wilson guarded by Smith. Starts into the lane. Spins on Smith now. Gives it up now to Davis. Back to Wilson. On the high post now to Hudson. And back to Wilson again in the corner to Brown. Hudson about 15 feet away, turns around and can't get it to go over Stevens. Rebound Boone.
The ball just isn't dropping for Hudson. He's got it up there nice and soft, but it just won't go down.
And he's going to have to start to play a little bit more carefully in view of the fact he's got 3 fouls to the baseline. As Stevens back for Boone. Fine effort. Credit Quentin Stevens.
Really a nice pass off, and I don't know how Stevens kept from charging, but he didn't hit anybody. It was not a charge.
For Boone, and it's going to quiet 7 points for him. This is Hudson again, playing Hudson on a high post. And Stevens working him quite closely. Hudson again, back for Labason. Crowd chanting defense. Davis, 14 for Labason again. Now to Brown. Brown has a shot, takes it, and scores.
Well, they got caught in their, looked like they were matching up in their zone that time, and they got caught. Two men picked up the ball, and nobody picked up Doug Brown.
21-17 ball game. Carson remains in control. 4:37 remaining. Robinson into the lane, starts to give it up. Got a break as it looked like it bounced off the bottom of the backboard. Here's Boone with a shot. He can't get it. Follows his own shot with the right hand, and it goes.
Looks like Washington's starting to take over the board now. They've been doing a good job in that defensive board, but now offensively they're starting to take over.
Carson had a rebounding edge in the first quarter, 10-7, and now, as you mentioned, the Eagles are starting to control the boards at both ends a little bit more. Wilson with a jumper scores for Carson. Here's Boone now for the Eagles, as both teams now have quickened the tempo and playing with a little bit more confidence. Neely, 14 outside. Now to Stevens, and back to Robinson. This is Maurice Smith. Smith starts into the lane, spins on his man, and forces up a shot. Well off the mark. Labusson comes down the other way now, 3-on-3. This is Hudson, puts it on the floor, takes it up, and Stevens is going to be whistled for a foul. Third foul on Stevens. So Hudson and Stevens now with 3 fouls. Hudson not at all happy with himself. And he will go to the line now. 23-19 ball game. Hudson can increase the Carson lead and does so to 5. 3:43 remaining in the first half. Both these teams high-scoring teams. 7 points for Hudson now, and misses the second. Boone the rebound for Washington. Give it up for Robinson. Washington has scored over 100 points on a couple of different occasions. Carson has scored 100 points one time and 98 points another time, 97 points here the third time. So both these teams could put it in the hole.
You know, Stevens drives to that hoop, you know, in close quarters. He could come up with that 4th foul on an offensive charge.
Boone, incidentally, in addition to 7 points, has 9 rebounds. He has 9 points and 9 rebounds. 3:28 remaining to be played. First half, 24-19 ball game. Carson out of the Southland leads Washington out of the North. Robinson now to inbound for Washington. Does so to Smith. Smith guarded closely by Scipio. Stevens and Hudson really having a contest underneath on both ends of the floor here. Robinson swings it around for Neely. Backdoor to Boone, works against Hudson. Takes it up with the right hand. Well, can't get it, but a rebound try is up and good by Smith.
Smith is about 6'1", but he's a big leaper.
First 2 points of the ball game for Maurice Smith. Scipio for Davis. And now back for Labusson. Over to Davis again. Worked on now by Boone. Scipio gets a step, gets into the lane, takes the shot too hard, won't go. Brown up with a rebound try, and Hudson winds up with it. It was a gimme for Hudson, but he didn't really expect it, and he couldn't get it to fall. And the Eagles come the other way, 3-on-2. Boone to the baseline of the basket, gives it up, and Smith can't get it to fall, but Boone is there for the rebound.
That was a nice pass by Smith, and then he ended up again getting the basket by that good rebound.
Crowd of 11,898 enjoying this one. As you mentioned, the tempo picks up. Eagles have a 2-on-1 again. Ahead is Stevens to the basket. Stop!
The defense of Washington is really picked up and is causing some of these turnovers. Here we see a nice pass. Robinson puts out a nice pass, and of course, but they all like to see that slam dunk.
8 points for Stevens, and the Eagles are in front for the first time at 25-24. 2 minutes remaining in the first half. Davis, 14, against the Eagles zone. It's been more effective here in the second quarter. Labusson back to Scipio. Now over to Davis. Worked on by Neely and double teamed by Robinson when the ball goes over that way. Labusson will take the shot and scores again.
Fine range, fine shooter, and when that zone gets a little less active, he finds himself a spot and he gets it down.
8 points for Mission Labusson off from the outside. Here's Boone from the outside. Air ball. Boone follows his own shot, gets in the lane, turns around, can't get the roll. Rebound try is no good. Stevens tries it again. He can't get it to fall again. The Eagles all around the ball. Stevenson tries it once more. Foul is called, and the Eagles had 4 shots at it, couldn't get it to fall, and still come away with a free throw try.
They are dominating. They're really dominating that offensive board, Washington. Let's take a look here. That time Smith gets a little smack at it. You see how high he was up in the air, and then there is about 3 consecutive taps by Stevens. Now he goes up for this last shot.
And in and out won't go. Second try coming for Stevens to tie the ball game. You see the numbers on him, 8 points for Quentin Stevens. Second try is up, and that one does go. So a tie ball game at 26 with 1:23 remaining. This exclusive telecast brought to you by California Sports Network is copyrighted with the rights granted by the California Interscholastic Federation. Hope you're enjoying the broadcast from the Oakland Coliseum. These are the first ever California State High School Basketball Championships, and they come your way live. Backdoor Hudson, double team, gets the shot off too long. Stevens with a rebound. And Hudson gets a hand on it beautifully. Labuschagne, but he's picked clean. Good defense on both sides that time. Smith finally came away with it. To the basket in a foot race that time was Cornell Myrick, but a little bit too quick, and Carson's going to come the other way. 1 minute remaining to be played in the first half.
What happened, he spotted Stevens over at the side, and he started to get the ball to him, and he found out there was 2 Carson players between he and Stevens, and there's no way.
Wilson to Davis, 52 seconds left. Labuschagne going to take that jumper again, and has it again. And he is keeping Carson in the fray here. 10 points for him. And a fine interception set up by Labuschagne, and now tied up is Wilson.
Labuschagne has been outstanding. That's 5 shots he's hit from that deep range, and you know he's at about that 3-point range out there. That's a very, very long range.
Myrick and Wilson will jump at the Carson end. And Wilson gets the jump. Davis controls it. Brown has the baseline. Takes a jumper over Neely. Score!
Brown likes to take that one little dribble to gather his rhythm and get that thing up. That's the second shot he's hit from that spot.
Again, some errant passing by Myrick. He comes away with it, but it's going to be out of bounds to Carson. And Carson starts to gain control. 4-point lead for the Colts.
Myrick has been a little out of control. He trying to force things, try to have things happen that aren't there.
Washington having a little bit of trouble in the backcourt. Their point guards between Myrick and Robinson have turned the ball over 10 times so far.
Well, a lot of that is due to the good defense of Carson, I think, there. That they put a lot of pressure in that ball.
This is Wilson outside. They'll play for 1 shot as we come down toward 10 seconds. Hudson way outside. Carson leads it 30-26. Going to have to get the offense going here. Labuschagne with 5 seconds, and he's going to have to force a shot. He does, and it's off the right side. No good. Rebound try by Hudson, and the buzzer will count. So Hudson with a very important basket at the buzzer puts Carson ahead by 6 as we come to the end of the first half. 9 points for Hudson, 32-26. Carson over Washington. We have 16 minutes of basketball remaining. Don't go away. So we are back with 16 minutes of basketball remaining. You take a look at some of the team numbers. Washington's shooting percentage far inferior to that of Carson, although neither team is really hitting the bottom of the net, Pete.
No, you see the turnover, 11-6. That's actually the difference. Each turnover amounts to about a point plus, and that 6 points is the difference, and there it is right there in the turnovers.
Individually, Stevens, 9 points, 8 rebounds for Washington. Boone with an outstanding night, 11 points, 11 rebounds. You look at the Carson numbers, and Labuschagne is the guy who has really made the key buckets for them. When Washington's zone has been affected, Labuschagne has managed to break it. And there you see Washington's individual totals.
If they gave you points by feet, Labuschagne has set a new course record, huh?
Everything was 20 feet outside of 20 feet.
I was going to say, right.
5 of 8 for Labuschagne from the field. And Hudson with 9 points and 5 rebounds. Not too shabby a performance for him, and he has been burdened with 3 fouls, as has Stevens.
This is unusual. You know, we've talked about Stevens' shot blocking and his rebounding and all, and yet Boone is the jumper.
Here's Smith coming away with the tip, and Washington controls it to start things in the second half. Robinson at point guard. Eagles have been hampered by play at the point so far tonight. Robinson pulls up with a jumper and has it to start things in the second half, 32-28.
It's always a big hoop, Barry. To get the first hoop in the second half is one of the real big hoops in a game.
Scipio over to Hudson now as Hudson plays outside. The Labuschagne, Scipio, and way outside, about 28 feet to Hudson. Now way back outside for Scipio. Carson going to try to get the Eagles out of that zone. This is Hudson working against Stevens. Now back for Labuschagne. And the Eagles now do have to go to a man-to-man defense. And Neely tries to fast hand it away. Can't quite do it. Got a hand on the ball, but it'll be out of bounds to Carson. Labason, the inbound now for Carson. Both these teams well coached. Back door, Hudson, fine effort.
That was some kind of a pass, but was he ever up in the air on that one? It looked like his elbows were about ring high.
Great effort, Labason to Hudson for the basket, 11 for Hudson. Stevens starts to take the shot before he had the ball, and Brown has the rebound. Hudson comes away with it now. Carson by 6, a chance to stretch it to 8. This is Scipio, 21 for Hudson, 23 feet away, takes the jumper, won't go off the right side, and a rebound finally batted around, comes down to Stevens.
You know, there are a lot of big jumpers out here, but I tell you, this Smith is just about as big as anybody.
That was Boone with a nice soft touch and a driving jumper.
Number 10 for Washington, Smith, he really skies.
34-30 ball game, neither team able to shake the other. Hudson outside now. Hudson guarded by Stevens. Labason way outside, about 28 feet, almost 30 feet out. This is Brown. Brown starts at the baseline. He's cut off by Boone. Gives it back to Labason.
They made an adjustment on Brown over there. They're not giving him that baseline like they did the first half.
Hudson way outside. Carson playing very patiently here in the second half. This is Brown to the cutter. Had a Scipio to the basket, but he is fouled.
Again, watch, here's Smith, the one I was talking about, the number 10. Now watch him get up here in this. He's only 6'1".
That's way a lot of leapers in this ball game. You're right, Pete. Scipio with the first try won't go. We'll have another.
You know, I want to commend you. You know, you're a Washington alumnus, and you've been right down the middle.
Been trying to be objective.
You were singing that song, though, the Washington Fight song. I noticed that. You released...
That's right. I wrote out a little speech. Tell you, I went to Washington High School.
Here's that pass.
Many years ago.
There was that Labason to Eldridge Hudson, and you can see how high up he was. His elbows were right around that ring.
This is Brown with a rebound. I mentioned I went to Washington High School a long time ago, but Alex Athanasopoulos, the coach at Washington, was still there and still coaching.
Is that right?
Had black hair then.
I'm glad you...
That's right. George was alive when I was there.
Now they're going into a delay game and bringing the whole offense out around the foul line.
I have to give you a list of the Washington graduates. Lana Turner.
Is that right? Hollywood High
Johnny
tried to claim her.
Is that right?
I know Johnny Mathis. I remember he was a really outstanding high jumper. He was about 5'10". He used to high jump around 6'6".
That's absolutely true. Broke the Far West Conference high jump record, as a matter of fact, when he went to San Francisco State. Hudson's second try is up and good. We'll get back to the ball game here. 12 points for Hudson, a 35-30 lead for Carson. We'll do some research on Carson's illustrious alumni also, just so it's not one-sided. This is Brown. Fine effort that time defensively by Carson. Hudson comes away with it now.
Labason has caused so many turnovers. You know, we're talking about the point guards having their problems. Labason is really the reason.
Hudson at the baseline has it slapped away, but coming away with it is Wilson. Can't get the roll. Hudson there for the rebound try. It won't go. We're going to get a jump ball between Wilson and Robinson. That'll be out of bounds, and it will go the way of Carson. Carson right now, it will go to the Eagles, I beg your pardon. Carson, it looked as though it was starting to gain a little bit of momentum in this ballgame, even though they lead by only 5 points. 4:44 remaining. This is Boone outside, now to Robinson. Stevens overplayed by Hudson, and he's going to be called for his 4th foul over the shoulder of Stevens.
Well, when you have 3 fouls this early in the game, you know, in the early and third quarter, well, that is his 3rd, right? I thought that was his
I thought that was his 4th also.
Yeah.
It is his 3rd, though.
Well, he's allowed to play that way then. With 4, no.
Here's Smith to Boone, guarded by Davis. Underneath now to Stevens, makes a good move for the hoop.
Great body quickness, control. Really spins. He has a very, very fast spin.
35-32 ball game. 4:13 remaining third quarter. Labason with the ball. Over to Davis. To the baseline he goes, guarded by Neely. This is Brown outside, worked on by Stevens. To the baseline once more is Wilson, but the Eagles cutting him off underneath. And getting home that time for the basket was number 14, Fred Davis.
Stevens got a little of that ball.
(37-32 ball game. Carson just staying in front of Washington here. This is Boone, gets the baseline, gets a step, and Brown gets a hand in on him. Davis gets the foul. It was Brown and Davis on either side of him, and that is 4 fouls on Davis. Boone gets the first free throw. And Dick Aker is going to substitute now and get Davis out of the ball game. Kevin Hawkins prepares to come in. Hudson with a rebound off the missed try. Labason outside. This is Davis.
See, they've have made the Generals play the man defense that they're trying to force by that holding the ball out there.
Brown, the turnaround jumper from 10 feet won't go. Hudson tries for the rebound. Stevens fight for it. Carson's going to get it coming in. So Hawkins comes on for Fred Davis now. Davis leaves with 4 personal fouls. 3 minutes, 15 seconds remaining to be played here in the third quarter. Carson maintains a 4-point lead. They lead the Washington Eagles 37-33.